Hello, today is June 20th. This is the SIG test meeting. And right now we kind of have a light agenda. So if folks have any other things to talk about, feel free to bring them up. Aaron was going to talk about the 1.7 release update of the current state of things. I don't know if you had any color to add to that, Muru.
We're frantically trying to get things into a state where we can lift code freeze, maybe by tomorrow. I think the major blocker is upgrade tests, as far as I'm aware. And we still have a lot of outstanding bugs. I don't know, it seems like every time. This is only my second release where I'm like involved in the release process, and it seems like we just have like an endless amount of things that just like are amorphous, and some people care about some things, other people just, they're still release blocking and nobody's working on them. I don't really get it.
Yeah, there seems to be a contentious ownership problem. I was able to at least punt off ones that were assigned to me directly to other people that have time to take a look at them, and we punted them out of the release, at least for this point, because it was too flaky. But people did inspect and triage.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm
Does
sure
anyone
I would have done a better justice. I'm just focused on triaging at this point.
The only other agenda item that is for this week was to go through the potential list of 1.8 roadmap items. Have folks at all taken a look at some of those things or had comments or questions on them? I know Eric had a fairly extensive list. I don't know exactly who's going to all be able to be resourced to execute on some of this stuff. So it's in the in the chat window for those who are interested. There's a fair number of modifications to Prow that he wants to make, as well as some deeper integrations into Slack to do notifications and whatnot. Ryan, did you have any comments at all? I know you work with Eric.
Sorry, comments about which?
About the 1.8 roadmap items?
Not specifically. We're still finishing up the 1.7 right now. It looked like the items are basically done in order of which is likely to get finished. Let's see. In specifically, some of the Prow stuff to remove Jenkins completely isn't probably not the highest priority. But we are definitely looking at ways to make the ED job testing in general more reliable. So getting rid of the last bits of bash in the ED runner that we can is definitely up there.
Does anyone have any questions, comments, complaint, concerns about like some of the work items that Eric had listed for the 1.8 cycle? I know that other folks will probably have other things that they may resource. I don't know if any of the Red Hat folks are resourced to execute on some stuff or not.
Hey, this is Steve. I don't think it's on the 1.8 items, but I did see in the doc there was some talk about getting JUnit output for the test CMD stuff that you guys have. And so I did want to propose, in Origin, I had written a sort of, there's like a bash framework for testing, which is hilarious and wonderful, but it outputs a pretty predictable format of output, and from that we generate JUnit for our test CMD runs. I'm not sure how high that priority is for you guys, but the code does exist for us. Be happy to upstream it.
I think stuff like that I doubt would go into the mainline repository. I mean, someone can correct me if I'm wrong there. but I would probably work with Ryan, who's here, and also talk with Eric on probably getting, if you wanted to, getting it into the test info repo.
Right. We had some conversations downstream about ditching Bash altogether. I think the origin of those suites as being a really quick thing that just starts the API server and tests CLI compatibility was, I think it was good before, but we almost were thinking of just using Ginkgo for all of that. So I'm not sure if, like what long-term ideas you guys have, if you want to stick with Bash for test CMD or not.
We have no particular love of Bash. It's mostly just inertia right now. We do have some things where we can run a command and have a JUnit output from it. It's just we haven't plumbed that through everything. I think that's
Right.
what the point was. We have various tooling built around the JUnit in particular to track flakes and graph and everything. And some of the jobs are just opaque. Like if a job fails and doesn't produce any JUnit output, we don't have any automatic ways of seeing what's going on.
Right.
I think we have one that's like bash to JUnit somewhere in the K8s repo that does some of the translations for us. But people are also talking about wanting to delete the whole cluster directory with all the shell scripts and replace it with kubemark or kubeadm or something, or kubeadm or kops or something, which is another significant portion of the complexity of standing up tests.
Well, in the long haul, kubeadm was meant to be the foundational piece that on top of which all the other pieces would be built. That's the objective. When we get to a point where everyone's happy enough to replace all the stuff is another TBD item. And I think those who own the kube scriptory stuff would have to determine when that point is. Are there any other topics that folks want to discuss? Otherwise, we might call it a little bit early today. Going once, twice, 3 times. All right, thanks everybody. Bye.